with myself. So whether those erosions were there before, I've just not seen. I couldn't tell you. I'm not entirely sure. But it was quite an incredible finding. I've not seen one like that before. You know, when you talk about glioblastoma and bone erosions, you know, there's some areas that you get them in quite commonly. For glioblastoma, it's most likely in the attic region, the top portion of the eardrum, where you get these retraction pockets. A lot of your regulars will know that. To get one down there, I've not seen. I suppose I've shown it to some specialists who've seen those a few times. But certainly not coming around my neck of the woods anyway. Whether there's something, I do seem to find a lot of these, and when I speak to some of my colleagues, I kind of see it a little bit disproportionate. I don't know whether there's any science in different parts of the country or different parts of the world where you find these things. I don't know. I've not read any research papers on it, the prevalence of it in certain areas. You know, I suppose the health of that specific area would have something to do with it. You know, some areas, particular demographics might be less likely to seek medical attention, so you might find more there. But whether it's just a weird anomaly that seems to have a lot of these going through the door, I don't know. But I'm glad he did. As was he was over the moon, to say the least, because obviously the biggest problem he had was he couldn't even think hardly anything at all. Certainly not through this one, but the other one was not quite as blocked up. But it was an extremely difficult removal because it was so hard. It's hard to look keratin, so I've got it with the rose insert here. It did work to some extent, but it's clearly anchored on deep load. I didn't know what was behind it at this point. And it's probably, you know, it could well be anchored in that hole, in that little triangular hole, in that erosion there. But there was a big old beast test when it came out, and it just flicked off the end of that. But the rose insert did its job there. It certainly brought it a bit further forward. But I wasn't able to give it a little as much of a wriggle and a shake as I would like to, so that's why I've gone back to the suction. Because if you wriggle and shake the rose insert, it just comes, it can either just break off or just snap through. You get a decent grip, but I feel it. The only way I was going to get this out was by, as you can see what I'm doing there, a good old violet wriggle. That's difficult to do and a bit dangerous with a little sharp tool. And as you can see, it's worked. I've got some images of these afterwards, I think. And yeah, he came with his wife who was watching it on the screen as well, as was he, but engrossed in it, staring at it, as most do. As I've told you before, the procedure is done on the endoscope like this, and then I found that what can cast the images from the endoscope quite well on the screen. So I can see the dirty stitch colour. So patients want to do that. I do tend to why do that. It does help by patients still can see what the delicate procedure is. But also really interested, it's really curious to see inside an area where I've only met people saw it on the screen to switch it on, which is fine. But most of the main reason why we go is I want people to understand that sometimes it takes longer than others. This particular reason it takes quite a long time. You know what's going on, or you can see what's going on, and you might get a bit impatient. So you know, this last time I done it took 2 minutes, which some procedures do. Something like this, they're a bit more difficult. So it helps them to get into patience, patient patience. And like I said, the attention to keep this talking, we can see what we're doing delicately. Taking the delicate work, kind of needless, away from the side, so it's quite dry. I suspect what's happening here is just a failure of all the skin. You can see the fresh layer of skin underneath that, can't you? Why it's doing that, I don't know. I can already see the skin going and getting better. So I'm having a look at that thinking, what is going on there? Really bizarre. It makes it almost makes it look like there's a bridge going across it, but that is the floor of the eardrum. And you kind of eroded down underneath that, it's gone past where the eardrum is. I don't think. I think only a scan would be able to fully understand just how deep that's gone. It might well be the case that it doesn't need any further intervention with this, as is quite often the case, because you know, there's no obvious infection there. When it's cleaned out, it's nice and clean. It might just be the case that we need to make sure we clear it out quite frequently. So there it is. Bizarre, really bizarre. And I've seen a few other specialist videos. I've not seen one that's got these triangular cavity right there. Whereabouts the floor of the ear canal was before that, I don't know. Whether it just went off down there and then dipped down there, or the whole thing is eroded and then it's skimmed back. I have no idea. Like I said, I've never seen it before, so it's difficult when you've got no frame of reference. You don't know what it looked like before, so you kind of guess it. But it's lovely and clean after that. And here's the second one. Now it does look a bit blurry this to start with. There's a few hairs where it has a whole endoscope. It does get a bit clearer. I just lifted that up from the base of the ear canal, and I was just as surprised as to what we found in this one too. So because we found it in both, it is more than likely to do with the failure of the skin to migrate over here. Don't be poking anything in, so he said. And so when the skin's just building up in there, you know, it can put a bit of pressure on a specific area in the canal. The skin can kind of ulcerate, it can start burying into it. And that's more than likely what's happening in both. But the one we found in this, probably the early stages of a canal plesiontoma, which are not very common. So it's good to spot them early. I know they will probably do a scan for this chap too, to make sure that there's no other damage where we can't see. Because you can only see so much whilst it's good images you get with these endoscopes. There's only so much you can see. So we need to know what's going on the other side of that. Again, this one's taking a bit of persuading as well. A bit stickier, this one. I didn't really want to put any oil in either, because it can obstruct with you. But also with what we found in the other one, I didn't want to go pouring any kind of drops or anything, just in case there's something similar or worse in this one. And I'll be honest, I didn't spot it at first. It's actually just underneath where the suction tube is now. And I didn't see it. It was only after I peeled this bit away. And then I had a good look around that I spotted this area that you're going to see underneath it. As soon as you touch it with the very, as soon as you touch it already, my suspicions are aroused. Excuse me. Because it's quite soggy around it. The skin's quite white. It's really quite macerated, you know. So how much of that is exposed bone, how much is it? Is skin, keratin. So as soon as you touch it, I know that some people described it as like rubbing something over a brick. That sensation that you get when you touch your stuff and stuff, you get keratin bone, and it's you just know as soon as you touch that what's going on. Not impossible as well to think that it could be like a osteonecrosis, less likely. That's where just the ulcerates and the bone kind of crumbles because there's a poor blood supply to that particular area. I think that's less likely. Again, like I said before, it's not my job to diagnose these things. I can point them in the right direction, I think, but ultimately it's up to the EAT consultants and doctors to formally say what they think's going on. But I'm pretty sure they might well scan. And then after that, they'll just say, make sure you keep on top of that. They'll let it get out of that. So I think it's been a good few years. I want to say at least 3 or 4 years since we had this done. Now, this last bit of the canal was a bit tricky, but I wanted to get as much as I possibly could, safely anyway, because of what we found in the other area. You know, this was a similar region, but we found that triangular piece, that erosion. Very sticky stuff. Really tricky is to find a tube we've got already figured out. I think it was chattering away a bit as well sometimes during this procedure, which is fine. Sometimes I don't tell people just to be quiet because obviously it makes everything move. You know, they move it, the jaw moves and the head moves. You have to tell them just pipe down a little bit sometimes. His wife was on the good times while she was watching this on the screen. She was fascinated, you know. And just run the tube over again just to double check that there's no loose bits that need to come away and just to